as Elizabeth said, we came together to support the Jewish people and to, as our motto is, activate Christians to be visibly and vocally supportive of the Jewish people to their right for Israel to exist and to fight anti-Semitism. And this has been happening for the last 2 and some years. And the hostages are all back. And our thinking was, what do we do going forward? And I think this Congress answers that question. It's my opinion is what we need to do going forward is to reclaim the narrative of our history, of our Judeo-Christian values of Western democracy. For years, while we were all building families and communities, businesses, civic organizations, houses of worship, anti-democratic forces were slowly and steadily claiming our educational institutions, religious organizations, corporations, media, and government entities. Generations of young people were and continue to be taught a warped and distorted view of how this country came to be, and more recently have been subjected to a similarly distorted view of the history of the Jewish people, both ancient and modern, all being funded by hostile outside forces. This distortion infects every aspect of our lives. We've seen it in our children's schools and on school boards, in many churches and libraries, medical workers, airline staff, social media, businesses. Now, most people don't have the interest or the bandwidth to delve into all these topics, so they go along with whatever the prevailing narrative is, whoever has the loudest voice, the most social media presence. And that prevailing narrative is filled with lies, corruption, and yes, anti-Semitism. All of us have spent the last 2 years showing our support to our Jewish friends and neighbors, advocating for the release of the hostages and for the surrender of Hamas. Now we must invest our energies into taking back the story of our histories. Coming together as we are doing these 2 days is the opening salvo in a war against the constant barrage of misinformation and hatred in all the areas I just mentioned, especially social media. We've got great partners here, great people. We want everyone here to meet each other, exchange ideas, exchange contacts, and work together in the place that God has set you to combat this scourge. Be vigilant, be bold, call out anti-Semitism wherever you see it or hear it in your personal life, among friends, in family, your workplace, in your local community. We must, as our O7C motto describes, be visibly and vocally supportive of the Jewish people. The terrible idea that America first or America only means rejecting Israel is the exact opposite of the truth. The truth is that America and Israel are partners in freedom, partners in human flourishing, partners in the rights of all men and women to fulfill their God-given destinies, partners in the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so we must educate and arm ourselves with the facts about our American history. Of course, every nation has its faults, and there's no need to deny or shy away from the terrible episodes that America has. But what makes democracies different is that we work to correct our mistakes. The freedoms that our democracies afford people is a gift, and it's the reason that the world flocks to us. We must not let it be hijacked by socialists, communists, or radical Islam. We must learn and spread the facts about Jewish history. It's all there in the most historically researched book in the world, the Bible, and in all the extant historical documents that came before and after. And just like America, just like every other country, Israel has its faults and continues to work to correct its problems. I think the blessing and the curse of the Jewish people is the way they examine every angle to try to come to right and just conclusions. It's something going forward in a manner that befits everyone. It's a very noble way to be and should continue, but equally, action has to take place to fight the lies. And in current affairs, though it's hard to keep up with so many false narratives in so many areas, we must continue to use our resources, like all organizations represented here, to stay on top of the false narratives, especially on social media, as much as we would like not to have to deal with it. So we have to continue to educate ourselves and be bold with the truth. But here's the catch. We must be bold with the truth in love. That's what separates us from the other side. We are commanded to love our enemy. A particularly loathsome phenomenon has recently taken place among the radical right, using the phrase Christ is King as a weapon to demonize Jewish people and any non-Christians. There is nothing more heinous than to use the precious sacrifice of Jesus as a way to condemn others. It is the exact opposite of what God intended, and the extreme arrogance of that should be called out at every opportunity. Our weapon is truth combined with a humility that is grounded in God's love and strength. I recently saw a quote from St. Moses the Ethiopian. "You can fast, but Satan also does not eat. You can labor fervently, but Satan also never sleeps. The only dimension with which you can outperform Satan is by acquiring humility, for Satan has none." We are called to be humble and loving and truthful in all our dealings with others who, like us, are the imago Dei, made in the image of God. Friends, we are living in a really crazy time, and God bless everyone here who has chosen not to stick their head in the sand, but to say, "Hineni, here I am, send me." So as St. Paul said, put on the full armor of God so that when the day of evil comes, you do everything you can to stand, and when you've done everything, stand. It's a privilege to stand with everyone that has come before us, with the cloud of witnesses that surround us, and to stand today with you, my dear friends, and with God's grace, we will secure the future of our children, our fellow citizens, and our countries. God bless America, and God bless Israel.